thanks for organizing this. It's a great event, so my compliments. So today we're going to talk about leading the change. And I will talk about the organization I work for, is a Hotelschool The Hague. And the way we lead the change is, of course, by, you guessed it, education. If it works, yeah. So, what do? If you think about sustainability within our hospitality sector, it's ESG, at least in the European context, you have to look at. And a lot of people don't know what ESG is, and let alone they know what the impact will be. So, if you look at my background, so I'm teaching finance and I'm teaching ESG at Hotelschool The Hague. My background is I used to be a stockbroker for UK hedge funds. So my angle today is really financial. So I'm not going to talk to you about, sustainability has to happen, etc. I'll take a different approach. But I'll show you the impact that it might have on valuation of hospitality business is going to be huge. So I think pay attention. So sustainability, we got ESG. ESG stands for environmental, social, and governance. So environmental speaks for itself. Social is what a company does for its own employees and for the society in which it operates. And governance is how a company conducts its business. So you're talking about diversity in the board, you talk about anti-corruption, you talk about pay differentials within the company, that kind of information. So this is non-financial information. So as you know, big listed companies have to produce financial statements with numbers, balance sheet, income statement, cash flow statement, etc. Now, this EU law, and I know there are many sustainability initiatives, but this is actually a law, requires financial companies to also give not only a figure-based annual report, but also one on sustainability, on ESG. And you might think, okay, this is just like administrative stuff, and yes, it's nice because people can read up on what a company does for E, S, and G, but that's not the endpoint for the EU. The endpoint from the EU is basically that they're trying to take a look at the capital flows, and they want to take it away from the gray companies and relay it to the ESG companies. And this is exactly the message I want you to remember from now. The cost of capital for, let's say, a non-ESG compliant hospitality operations and real estate owner can be huge. Even if it's only a 1 percentage point difference in the cost of capital, valuation can drop by 40%, 40. And we did research in the Dutch market, and to our surprise, the majority of real estate owners in hospitality and operators are not aware that ESG will have an impact on their business. So they are sleepwalking into the ravine. And I hope this will be the start of waking people up in our industry and to pay attention to ESG. And the arguments that they had was, yeah, but ESG is only applicable to large financial companies, so insurance companies, banks, institutional investors. But the thing is, they will get punished if they start providing capital to non-ESG compliant businesses. That's the way they're going to do it. So that's something to keep an eye on. And that is what we now are educating our students. I'll skip the middle slide because that's basically what I said. So how do we lead the change at Hotelschool The Hague? We integrated ESG now in 2 courses in our bachelor program. We're starting to introduce that into our MBA program. And of course, we are commissioning a lot of research. Yeah? So in the end, we hope to let loose on the world thousands of students which are aware of ESG. And we are building on a great research capacity that we can share with our hospitality partners. So I hope, I'm a pretty tall guy, so you can easily find me, that you come to me and we can exchange ideas, because I'm very curious in your take on this and on our business and on our industry. I also have to apologize because there's one thing I haven't mentioned what our school is doing. We also organized the Sustainable Hospitality Challenge. And from 45 universities worldwide, there were teams, and the last 5 have done the pitch yesterday. And today, they will announce the winner, which will be in about 5 minutes. So I have to leave, and sadly enough, I cannot follow the rest of the presentations.
Thank you. Time is up, sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Do we have any questions from the audience? Otherwise, we can get started.
Anything you'd like to know from Alexander?
Do you want to have a go?
Sure. I'm curious, why do you think that businesses are so, that you're talking about how they're blind to this. Why do you think that is? Why are they not, on top of the ESG issues?
Well, I think ESG is very much complex if you look at the regulations. A lot of it is still unclear. And again, it only applies to financial companies. And yes, there are plans to also apply to other companies, the CSRD is called, but that will probably be 2026, 2027. So people think, oh, I'll bide my time. But the point is, if your capital providers will get squeezed, they will basically force you indirectly to comply with these regulations. And that's the thing they're missing. So that's why I think a lot of people, especially in real estate, are not seeing what's approaching them.
Please, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I had a student, and he looked at basically hospitality operations. Then the only thing he did, he combined the operations with real estate, which often they are separated, right? But he combined them. And he basically had a valuation differential of 20 percentage points, and it was mostly based on the operational side of the business. What I'm talking about, of course, is that once the EU starts putting the levers, putting the squeeze on, then you get the WACC, the weighted average cost of capital thing increase, and then the surprise is there for most. So that's still in the future, and it was not in his model. But I can give you the model, and then you can play around, and then you will see the nightmare. Anyone else? Yes?
In the EU, with the Article 9, a lot of companies which were ESG compliant were declassified by EU because there was not a lot of clarity on how they were really meeting the sustainability regulations. And we're going to have this more in the future because people say they are ESG compliant, but are they really? Question is, in our sector, how do we really know what is sustainable?
Well, they don't even know it in the financial sector. And the financial sector, to be honest, right, if you're a bank, you have to say your loan book, how ESG compliant it is. So you have to go to your clients and ask for information. If they have bad information, it's basically being relayed. And this is where now the discrimination is happening. If you cannot provide that information, your bank will say, sorry, I cannot renew your loans. So that's the thing that's happening. So the quality of the information has to improve. That's one thing, and that's why sometimes claims are being made which could be doubtful. The other one is the EU taxonomy, where basically it shows you how green you are. It's very confusing. It's like 442 pages, and it's difficult to figure out how to apply those. So it's still nascent, basically, this regulation, and people are still a bit confused how to apply it. So yes, there will be differences, and they are a little bit relaxed at the moment, but of course, going forward, it will get stricter and stricter, and there will be more clarity in how to do things.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank you.